There is a war on this planet. It is an unseen war, but it's becoming more and more visible to those who are willing to see. This is a war on consciousness. This is a spiritual war in which they're trying to bring your spirit as low as possible so that you don't ascend, you don't reach your highest potential, so you are able to continue to be controlled. And that's really what this is all about. This video is not meant to scare you. It's just meant to awaken you to how you are being targeted and how you can make yourself less of a target. Earth is a prison planet. You've been lied to about so much. I'm not going to go into the full galactic history on this video, but long story short, there are dark beings that are running the show behind the scenes. Now, I want to make it clear that these beings at the core are also love and God, but they have been corrupted as a race. So there really is only God, okay? God and love is the highest truth. Everything else is an illusion, and everything has started as being love, and then there's been major corruptions. These dark beings have cut themselves off from God. God is source. God is the Most High. They've cut themselves off and turned corrupt. They have created synthetic beings that live in the 4D astral realm. And their job is to harvest our energy. They harvest the energies of pain, anxiety, fear, any suffering, like anything negative. That is what they harvest. And they're feeding it to the dark overlords. There really is no devil or Satan, not one being that's like this big thing against God. It's really a collective, just dark fallen ones that have turned corrupt and create a huge group of dark. There's corruption everywhere you turn, in politics, religion, in the financial system, literally in everything. And this is coming to an end though. And that's why I'm so happy despite knowing about all this darkness, because I know where we're heading. And it's so exciting that we're finally, I didn't think that this would happen during the time that I was alive, but things are shifting so rapidly. We're at the end of a cycle where this is coming to an end, and the golden age is here. The weaker you are, the more that these beings can influence you. So if you're like going through a really low point, they are going to be able to influence you a lot more. That gives them an in. Now they can kind of like influence your thoughts. Do you ever notice you get a thought that isn't really yours and you're like, it's like a very dark thought. It's not yours. And so you need to make sure to not attach to your thoughts as your identity, because you are not your thoughts. That's one of the most important things I think people need to realize. So they have an in when you're at a low point. And so I am very, very strong and I radiate light and I'm very high frequency, but of course I still go through low times at times, and that gives them an in. So I had a couple experiences recently. So I got like into kind of a lower vibration due to just tuning into the collective energy of what's going on in the world. There's so much darkness, and I was scrolling, looking at all, and I don't usually let myself scroll, but I was trying to kind of see what's going on. I scrolled and I just caught on to the frequency of all this fear that's out there. So my frequency was kind of low and lower. As I'm scrolling, I noticed my frequency dropping, and I was tuning into the collective energy of everyone. Like, a lot of people are in fear right now. It looks like everything is going so terribly because right now a lot of dark has to come to the light before we enter the golden age fully. So we are really at the end of this whole dark cycle. A lot is coming up to the surface right now. So I felt my frequency lowered, and like I was thinking about people that are close to the fires, and it made me just so worried for them, just the thought of anything happening to them. So I felt like when I'm in that state, like my mind was racing when I usually am very clear-headed for the most part. And so my mind is racing because I am lowered frequency to the point where these entities in the 4D are able to like mess with my mind and try to influence me and get in my head. It's as simple as that. So yes, like everyone has entities, but you don't need to get scared about them. They can't do anything. So I'm not scared of them. They can't do anything to you physically. They can try to make you make bad decisions. So you have free will, but You know, there's that analogy of people saying like there's a devil on your shoulder and an angel. It's almost like that is kind of true. In the unseen world, there are also, of course, angels as well. And so I really recommend you all to find God and Jesus, because that is when I really stopped being freaked out about the darkness. I remember being a kid, and when I laid down at night, I would kind of sense energies around me, and I would get kind of freaked out. And now I know why. I understand why, because I was able to sense the things around me. And up until March of this year, or March of 24, I would still get freaked out about the darkness a little bit. But March of 24 is when I had a lady come up to me at the park when I was studying, and she guided me back to God and Jesus. I was a believer of God before, but I'll make a whole video on my history with the church. But I had really fallen away from like the practice. Like I had really fallen away from, I don't know, it's like it was redefined for me in March. Like everything got redefined, and that is when I stopped getting scared of the darkness completely. Another thing to note is that the closer you get to God, the more the darkness is going to try to come after you. So people like me who are on a mission are going to get attacked a lot. And I will actually share some of my stories of being attacked. It's funny because I actually enjoy it. I truly believe that the brighter you shine, the more you attract. Think about a bright light in a dark room. Everyone's going to see it. So I do know that like I attract a lot of things in the unseen world, and that's okay with me because I've learned a lot through these experiences. I'm going to make a separate video explaining my experiences with the darkness attacking me. I'll link the video to my stories with the dark at the end of this video, but I want to stay on track here. So one more thing I want to note, I said that these entities can't physically harm you. They can't, but they can to an extent if they make you make a bad decision and you listen and you don't really, they can lead to physical harm via health. So if you're constantly in a state of anxiety, fear, stress, it can cause physical manifestations, meaning your body responds with dis-ease. Disease is dis-ease within the body. Anxiety, I think, causes a lot more problems for people than they realize. I've recently realized that anxiety, I think, causes migraines and is one of the causes of migraines, as well as people that have extreme neck pain, because it causes a bunch of tension. Overall, the less you are in tune with who you are at the core, meaning you are strong in your spirit, you know who you are an ambassador of God, they cannot affect you as much. That doesn't mean you're completely immune, but you're going to be much better off. You won't be able to be influenced by them. When you're in a very low state, you're basically in receiving mode for them to just control you, and it's very sad. But this is why, I know this is going to be a triggering video for people, but you need to become aware. And if you just try to pretend this isn't here, then you're really not doing yourself any favors. So the solution to this, find God and Jesus. Realize that God and Jesus are there to have a connection with you, and you are protected. You can work with the angels, your guides. I'll make a whole nother video on that. And then also just work on yourself. Heal yourself from your traumas and your past wounds and addictions. They also feed off of your addictions. When you're addicted to something, they feed off of that addiction energy. So that's another reason, you just working on yourself makes you strong-spirited, meaning that you're not going to be able to be influenced by them as much. So the energy that they harvest is called loosh energy. That's all of the negative energy, pain, suffering, anxiety, fear, stress, lust, anything less than God, they harvest. So be aware, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, saying you can control all of these things, because I know this is a very dense planet. There is a lot going on around us to make us feel emotions, and it's normal for humans. We are supposed to feel emotions, but there is an extent to which you can take control over this. You need to take accountability for working on yourself. If you decide to work on yourself and better yourself, if you start doing things like meditation and breath work to lower anxiety, if you start really I have to make a whole thing on how to help people figure out how to do this, but what I've done over the years has made me so strong because I've healed myself from all my past wounds. I've really just done everything to prioritize myself to help me be the strong person I am today. And it has been the best thing I ever did for myself was prioritize myself and work on myself. In every aspect of your life, things just are amazing. And having God and Jesus is going to make this so much easier for you. So the darkness, besides having the negative beings in the 4D that are trying to influence us and harvest our energy, I want to talk about the other things that go on this planet to lower your spirit. Hence why it's called a spiritual warfare, because they're trying to lower your spirit so you can't ascend and so you are controlled. They do everything they can to keep you in a state of fear. Everything. Like, I don't watch the news because it is meant to lower your vibration. And it sucks because I want to be in tune with what's going on in the world, but also it's like I don't at the same time. So you got to find a way to have a healthy balance of somehow getting your news from something that doesn't like take you down completely. The only time I see the news is when I'm in clinic walking to the bathroom. There's a TV in the waiting room. And every time I walk by, there is something negative on the screen about someone getting shot. All of it is just this negative programming to keep you down and to make you think Earth is a terrible place, life sucks. And although those things truly are happening, it's like they're highlighting all of those bad things that are happening to keep you low instead of focusing on the good things that are happening. So just try to stay away from the news. Fear is really their best way of being able to control us. And that's when you're more influenced by the entities as well. Religion is another way that they control us. Religion, unfortunately, has been very corrupted. And I'm going to make a different video about that. I don't want to get too off topic here, but they have really messed with everything. They have corrupted Jesus's original teachings. So religion has been, unfortunately, a way to control people. It is presented in a way that makes it seem like it's all good, but there's so many little things that are sprinkled in there that are not what you want to be thinking or believing, and I'll make a whole separate video on that. So be careful. I actually watch a live stream. My favorite church in California, I still watch the live stream every week because it really does lift my spirits up and makes me feel very connected, and I love that church. But there are things that I take what resonates and I leave what doesn't because I can't agree with everything that they say. So that's what I recommend doing, because there's power in community and power in, like, when I went to that church, I felt it felt amazing to be surrounded by other people that are believers of God. So they also poison us in like everything. I'm talking besides the food, which most people know about, like the chemicals. I mean, think about all the chemicals. Like when you look at a nutrition label, you can't even pronounce most of the stuff on there. A lot of things are poison. And we just kind of allow this to be normal because what else are you going to do? Like, what else? It's very hard to avoid all of the ingredients. It's very frustrating though, because we want to treat our bodies well, but even health foods have a lot of bad ingredients. So they put chemicals and, like the vegetables that are grown have a bunch of pesticides. They are feeding the animals with a bunch of stuff and injecting antibiotics and all these hormones and into that. So that's another way. They poison us with like laundry detergent. I use a very all-natural laundry detergent because that's on your body. You're smelling it. So I switched to a very natural laundry detergent. It's like unscented. They're doing it perfume, which sucks because I like my perfume a lot, but I'm trying not to use it very much. But it's just you're smelling the toxins all day. So try to get organic, natural perfume, laundry detergent, dish soap, house cleaning products, everything that is going inside of your body that you're eating or drinking or that you're wearing. Like even the materials that they make clothes with, which is sad. And like I can't right now. I mean, I'm not at a place, I'm a student. I'm not at a place where I can buy clothes that have 100% good fabrics. And same with like some, products that I use, like it's very expensive to get all the good ones. So even though I know all of this, unfortunately, I have to use some of them, which is sad, but I know someday I won't have to use any of them. What else do they do for poison? They market all of the most unhealthy things, like all of the fast food, You guys have to realize how much sugar is in like everything too, like sodas. I don't drink soda. Even like one Dairy Queen Blizzard like has an insane amount of unhealthy stuff in it. Like sugar is really, really, really bad for you, and they market it so much that that's what kids want. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with candy, and they are programming us to want that, and then that keeps us sick, and it's really sad. I remember like a couple days ago, I went on TikTok, and every time I went on, there was a McDonald's commercial. Every single time. This food is so bad for you. So please just try to limit it. I know sometimes it's okay to have it every once in a while, but just try to really limit it. A major one I want to talk about is our water. I found out about the water back in like 2019, and that's when I really started awakening. So my awakening started with me realizing the water and the music industry. And so I actually bought test strips, and I was testing fluoride in the water, and I'm very, very strict on the water that I drink because fluoride is in our water and it's a neurotoxin. And we really don't need it for our teeth. There is another ingredient called hydroxyapatite, something that I use that's just as effective as fluoride. So why are they choosing to use a neurotoxin? And then you're using that in your toothpaste, and it's going through your gums, and the gums are able to absorb very quickly in the bloodstream. It's going to your brain. We have a pineal gland. It's in the center of our head. Pineal gland that gets calcified by fluoride, and that is our connection to basically our psychic senses. And so they want to do that on purpose so that we stay small and we stay able to be controlled. So I recommend switching to a fluoride-free toothpaste. I'll link my favorite ones below. And then don't drink tap water. Please don't drink filtered water. Now, I don't even trust Brita filters. I go to a water place that reverse osmoses the water, and I like to mix alkaline water with regular water. The water you drink is very important. I think, like, honestly, I can tell you right now, I do not experience brain fog. I feel like I'm always very alert, and as I get older, I'm getting more and more clear-headed. I think the reason is because of these lifestyle choices that I'm making. I'm eating very clean, I'm drinking very good water, and I'm slowly trying to eliminate everything toxic out of my life. I currently do not drink coffee. It's been over a month since I've had coffee, because coffee actually is... I don't even want to get into that. I also think that since, I have my pineal gland not calcified, that really helps me to just be in tune. I think that the more I am working on myself, my spirits rise higher, and I'm just in this, I have a lot of energy. I feel so good. So I have to share this with you guys. That's why I started this channel, because I feel so good about everything in my life. I wake up happy every single day and excited. And I'll make a separate video on why I think I'm so happy, because I want to help guide you guys to get to that point. Because I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to brag here, but I am the happiest person that I know. And that's not to brag, that's just to show that, okay, if I'm the happiest person I know and I see everyone around me struggling, I have to do something. I have to share what I'm doing to help others get to this point. Because I love life. I am enjoying it so much. And I feel like everyone around me is not everyone, but a lot. I don't know, it's just sad to see so many people are not enjoying their life. Life is supposed to be enjoyable. And even, it's I know about this being a prison planet and all this stuff, but I still feel amazing. So I think it's because I know about why things are the way they are. Another thing that they do is they program us. They program us through everything. Television programming is called that for a reason, because there's little messages, subliminal messages, as well as straight up programming where they just show you things and then your brain starts thinking that's normal. And it's a whole thing that happens from the moment we are born. Everywhere you go, there's programming things everywhere. And I don't watch TV anymore. And I'm not saying you should never watch TV, but I just personally have too many things that I do to watch TV, but I also don't want to get programmed by it, so that's another reason. But just be very aware of what you're watching and have discernment, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between truth and lie, and so that's why it's so important to be careful what you expose yourself to. I'm going to be making a video on how to positively program yourself, because that is something that I did. I have been reprogramming my mind for years now. I rewire my brain to find success in anything that I want, and it works so well. Stay tuned for a video on that. They also try to keep you as distracted as possible from going within. So there are distractions everywhere around us. That's why you need to be careful that you're not spending too much time on your phone and allowing your phone to be the main thing you do in your life, because then you're never going within and rising up to the powerful being that you truly are at the core. As far as distraction goes, like they simply just have us focusing on the wrong things, like our looks and just how you are perceived by people on social media, and people living their whole life for the wrong reasons, instead of tapping into what they came here to do, their soul's mission, what their soul wants to do at the core. They also try to keep you distracted through addictions like alcohol, of course. A really big one that I find is pornography. I see so much about this ruining people's lives. And it involves such a high dopamine hit that people get very, very addicted to it. Therefore, they cannot develop genuine connections. It's very sad that people are like hiding this from their partners. The other thing you need to realize is that there is a gateway to negative beings through pornography. So you need to be careful. You need to make sure that your partners are not watching it, because then you take on the negative entities as well from the astral realm. So I am celibate, and the reason that I went celibate is because I have worked too hard on myself to allow myself to take on energies of other people who have not worked on themselves. Because when you have sex with somebody, you're exchanging energy, you're exchanging entities. If they have a bunch of attachments in the astral, you're going to take that on. So be very careful with who you sleep with. Another thing that's really messed up with the pornography industry is that I think a lot of it is like, a lot of them are people who have no choice but to do it. I think there's a lot of trafficking in that industry. So if you're watching that, you're supporting that. Without trying, you're supporting that. It's just such a dark thing. You want to just stay away from that as much as possible. And if you're going through that addiction, I know that you can get through this. I believe in you. Find God, find Jesus. You will make it through. They've really programmed us to think that drinking is normal. And I mean, it is normal. It's what people do to celebrate. It's what people do for fun. That's what all I did in college. And even in optometry school. I'm still in optometry school now, but I'm on my rotation. So I've been alone. I haven't been drinking at all. And it's amazing. And I realized like, that's such a low vibrational activity to do, because first of all, it's poison. And I know it's fun. Trust me, I've had a lot of fun drinking, but it's literally poison. You lose your mind when you're in a low vibrational state like that. Well, first of all, drinking creates holes in your aura. So those entities can basically they can have their way with you. That's why people act really ridiculous when they're drunk, because they're being influenced by these entities. And I actually saw someone outside. I just got a scared feeling. I felt such darkness. Outside of this apartment on a Friday night, a girl was screaming, "I want to die." She just kept screaming that she wants to die. And I felt such darkness. It was awful. She would not stop screaming that she wants to die. She was like, I felt so much darkness. So I ran down to help her. The cops told me to get away. I'm like, you guys aren't even helping her. They literally weren't even, they were just watching her on the ground. I wanted to I wanted to try to talk the darkness out of her, but anyways, and then that's a story for another time. They weren't even giving her a blanket. So then I went down to give her, anyways. So just be careful with drinking. I'm not saying I'm never going to drink again. I definitely will sometimes, but I'm going to be very careful, and I'm going to set intention okay, I'm not going to be influenced by negative entities, and set extra shielding. I personally shield every single day, and I recommend that you do the same. If you want me to make a shielding video, I will. So just comment below. I talked about this in my first video about how music programs us with negative lyrics and negative frequencies. This is just so clear to me, and you can look at a lot of mainstream artists and see how dark their just how dark they are. Like it's not like it's even hidden. And a lot of their concerts, they literally do energy harvesting at concerts. It's very sad. So just be careful what music you listen to, because the words go in your subconscious. So if you don't want those words to be your reality, try to avoid it. I'm not saying I never listen to music that doesn't have the best words, because sometimes I really just want to. But I set intention before, like, okay, this is not going to reflect my current reality. There's corruption within the financial system, which is meant to keep us in poverty. It's not meant for our success. Overall, you should be realizing by now that this world is not set up for our success. That's why so few succeed. I think it's pretty messed up. So I'm in optometry school, and my schooling is very expensive. So I'm going to graduate. I'm in my 9th year of college. I'm going to graduate with $300,000 of student loans. And I think it's pretty messed up that, like, first of all, that's the hardest thing I've ever done was optometry school. So I had to go through a lot of, studying and stress to get to this point. And I'm helping people with their eyes. And so why am I going into debt when we need people to be doing this? Like, it just doesn't really make sense to me. Like, the people that are choosing to go through these long years of school to help people are going into hundreds of thousands of debt. Whatever. I'm not worried about the money, because I know I'm going to easily be able to pay it off, but it's frustrating to think about sometimes. The banking system is absolutely absurd. People get lost in credit card debt that they'll never be able to pay off, and everything is so expensive, and these people are profiting off of our sickness. It's another one, big pharma. The fact that they advertise, aren't we one of only like 2 countries that allow pharmaceutical advertisement, something like that? That is so messed up. It's like they are profiting off of our sickness, and all of the things I just said before are keeping you sick, because being in a low mental state and in anxiety stress can cause you to get physical dis-ease. So do you see there are so many things that are trying to bring you down? That's why I'm raising awareness of this now, so you can stop being a target for them. I'm not saying, obviously I'm still a target, but I'm not really letting it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still a target, but I'm not allowing myself to be as much of a target as I could be. They also try to cut us off from the sun, which is source consciousness. We can download light codes from the sun. I recommend getting in the sun every day if you can, and just absorb the energy. And I always say, like, source, God, please allow me to receive the codes that are most relevant to me at this day. So they do chemtrails in the sky. You can look it up. It's not a secret. Florida just passed a ban on, like, not allowing that. It's like they're admitting they're doing it, basically, and why aren't other states doing that? So they do chemtrails that have chemicals and also try to block us from the sun. They also can modify the weather. That's a video for another time. I know that I'm definitely forgetting a lot of things that they do, but I just wanted to give an overview. And that should definitely be enough for you to see, like, okay, like, this is what's going on. So as far as solution goes, find God and Jesus. That is the biggest thing I can tell you, because therefore you are protected. I don't know if any of you saw, but with the LA fires, there were so many houses that had, like, religious statues outside of them. And I saw a video of, like, crosses standing and everything was burned around it. I truly believe, I know that I'm protected. I am divinely protected. And I believe that the more that you believe in that, the deeper relationship you have with the higher realms, the more you dedicate yourself to anchoring into the Christ consciousness grids and being a beacon of light on this planet and always trying to do the right thing. I feel like that gives you more protection. Wow. Yes, it does. I just got confirmation. You are more protected that way. Wow. I can't even explain what's going on right now. That is how you get more protection. So anyone can do that. And besides that, just try to make the changes to not be feeding into this system anymore. I really hope that you are able to implement this. Let me know if you have any questions. I know I'm definitely forgetting a lot of things that they do because there's just too many things that they do, which is sad. I'm not meaning to smile about that. I love you all so much, and I hope that this helps you raise your spirits up. And here's a video that will explain my experiences with the dark.